everybody! When I take a dish to a party, I like to bring something a little unconventional. Nothing too weird, just something to get a conversation started. But it also has to be delicious. So today I've got a recipe that fits nicely into that category. I'm making these peanut butter potato chip bars that everyone's gonna love. So let's get started. Let's take a look at our ingredients, and this is a very simple recipe using the Rice Krispie Treat principle. And if you've never made Rice Krispie Treats, just use this same recipe, but replace the chips with Rice Krispies, and you got it. And the peanut butter, of course, is optional. So, I've got one 8-ounce bag of potato chips. Use whatever you like. I've got a 10-ounce bag of marshmallows. This is 1/2 cup of creamy peanut butter, and this is 1/4 cup of butter. And a teaspoon of vanilla is optional. Now to get started, I like to put about half of the bag of potato chips into a large mixing bowl. And I'll leave the rest of the chips in the bag for now. It just makes it a little easier to mix up if I put half of the chips in the bowl and then add some of the peanut butter and marshmallow mixture and then add the rest of the chips and the rest of the mixture. Just gives you a little head start on mixing this up. So I will set those aside. And then I'm going to thoroughly butter up an 8x8 baking dish. I'll set that aside as well. Now you want to have everything ready to go because once you get started here, this is going to come together really quickly. And I'm going to start by melting the butter over medium-low heat. Now right when your butter gets melted, get in there with that whole bag of marshmallow. Hey, get those guys all coated in that butter. And then we'll stir them around fairly frequently to keep them from burning on the bottom. Now once that gets pretty melty, go ahead and go in with the peanut butter. You don't need to wait until it's completely smoothed out. And then if you're using the vanilla, go in with about 1/2 teaspoon of that. And now you're going to stir this kind of like crazy until this gets nice and smooth. Alright, it's looking good. Just about time to get those chips. Now we're going to do this kind of quickly. Got half of my potato chips in there. I'll spread around about half of this peanut butter and marshmallow mixture. Toss it a little bit. Don't want to stir too hard. I don't really want to break the chips up until they're dusty, or these bars will get very dense. Rest of the chips go in, and the rest of the peanut butter mixture. We'll kind of do that in stages, toss it around. Very, very sticky now. Now I'm going to throw in some mini M&Ms. If you're going to do this, make sure that's cooled down for just a little bit. You don't want to really melt them. Get that all down into the baking dish. Now you just want to kind of flatten that out. All the corners and edges, even it out as much as you can. Again, don't press super hard. You don't want to dust those chips. All right. Now, you can set this out at room temperature to cool, but I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the refrigerator and we'll move on to the frosting. Those potato chip bars are really great naked like they are right now. I used to make them that way all the time, but at some point I decided I'd try to put some peanut butter frosting on top, and it was so good that now that's the only way I make them. And this frosting is very simple to make. It's just a few ingredients and there's no cooking required. So here I've got 5 tablespoons of butter, and that is nice and soft at room temperature. I've got 3 cups of powdered sugar that I've sifted, 1 cup of creamy peanut butter, 1/3 cup of heavy cream. I'll use a teaspoon of vanilla extract and just a pinch of salt. Now the first thing you need to do is cream the butter. So I'm just going to whisk that around at medium speed for around 2 minutes until it gets nice and creamy. Now I just add in the rest of the ingredients. Now we'll beat this all together. Gonna start out kind of slow so I don't blast powdered sugar all over the kitchen. And then we're gonna increase the speed to high and whip that for a good 3 minutes until it is nice and creamy and smooth. Now if this is coming out too thick, you can add in just a little drizzle more of that heavy cream, and if it's too thin, add a little bit of powdered sugar, maybe a little tablespoon at a time until it's just where you want it. Now once that's all smooth and spreadable, you're good to go. And this is way more than I need for this recipe, but this is kind of just nice stuff to have around, so it'll keep for a week or so in the refrigerator, and you can whip it out whenever you find something you might want to spread it on, or just when you get the munchies. Now these potato chip bars are cooled off and set up nicely. I'm gonna pop them out of here, so just use a knife or something and go around the edge a little, and if you've buttered that pan up enough, it should pop out pretty easily for you. Now this is nice and firm. My frosting is nice and soft still. I'll just go ahead and frost that guy up as thin or as thick as you like. I've got a few of those little M&Ms left, so I'll go ahead and put those right on top of there. Now Now that frosting might be a little gooey, so I think I'm gonna try and just butter up the edge of my knife a little bit before I cut these. See if that helps keep things from sticking. Now let's see how we did. Ooh, yeah. Check out that bite. Ooh, those are good. Crispy, chewy, sweet, and salty. This one's got them all. Take a look at that. You can see all the layers in there, and all those little air pockets add to the crispiness and make it a little bit lighter in texture than if I had really pressed down on these. It's surprising how well the potato chips and peanut butter work together. Somebody should probably get to work on a peanut butter flavored potato chip. I think that would be awesome. This is a really fun recipe to make. It's so simple and it comes together quickly and is sure to raise some eyebrows and crush your late night munchies. I love it, and I hope you give it a try because I know you'll love it too. Thanks for watching. What am I going to do with all that extra frosting?